come back to what's happening in the United States, because the Labour government was dragged into the forefront of the presidential campaign this week as Donald Trump's team filed a Federal Election Commission complaint accusing Labour of blatant foreign interference in the US election. The dispute appears to have arisen after a now deleted social media post from Labour's head of operations, Sophia Patel, which said 100 current and former staff members had signed up to travel to America to help the Harris campaign ahead of polling day. Foreign nationals are permitted to be volunteers in political campaigns in the United States as long as they are not compensated, according to the Federal Election Commission rules. The BBC understands that Labour activists campaigning in the US election are doing so in a personal capacity. Michael Jacobs, former Special Advisor at Number 10 under Gordon Brown. Hello, Michael. Good evening, Michael. We've lost Michael. Erol Morkoc, spokesperson, Vice Chair of External Relations for Republicans overseas. Erol, good evening to you.
Hi, good evening.
Well, look, what's your interpretation of the rules?
Well, it's a little bit of a gray area. Now, obviously, if they were committing an actual direct violation, it would be the same thing as Elon Musk with his sweepstakes. He would actually have stopped sending out those checks, which he didn't do. The Labor Party would have obviously not sent those people. I think it's a shock to a lot of Americans who didn't realize that this has actually been happening for a few years. And while qualifying it legally as, you're not contributing your money, you're contributing your time, I'm not really worried about that. Nobody's concerned about it. I think it's a sour taste in the mouth of probably moderate voters. I mean, obviously people on the right wouldn't be happy about it at first glance, but if you really think about it, if a bunch of left-wing British people showed up in coal country and went around knocking on doors for Kamala Harris, I think that would win us some Trump votes. I mean, that's not the demographic that you're going to win around knocking votes in coal country. So I'm not quite sure where they're going to help. With that said, I do think that, there's been tit for tat. I think President Obama said something in regard to Brexit, trying to influence how politics went in your country. If your current administration feels the need to send 100 people to come and somehow help Kamala Harris, it's not going to help. But I think it looks bad because Americans didn't know that this had been going on for years. I confess myself was not aware of that either until recently.
Do you think it looks bad that Nigel Farage from here in the UK regularly campaigns for Trump?
So only probably in the UK audience, right? To the US audience, Nigel Farage is one guy. It would be very different than an actual government.
It's the same principle,
right?
Isn't it? It's whether foreign nationals should be campaigning for one of the candidates or should be buttoned out of it. It's the same principle.
Oh, sure. I can see that, whatever. But my point is that Nigel Farage helps his career by coming around Trump, right? It's helping Nigel. It's not helping us that he comes over. Nobody in America cares about what Nigel Farage does in the United States. And he's much more of like an eccentric sort of media figure. This is more of a direct thing from a political party that's actually relevant. Nobody in America knows what party Nigel Farage is besides the general conservatives. I see your point.
And you're suggesting that anybody knows who these Labour staffers are?
No, that's kind of the point. Because they're faceless people who are operatives of the current government and the sitting power in the UK, and that's why it's untasteful. That's all.
Michael Jacobs is listening to this. We've got his line fixed up. Former Special Advisor Number 10 under Gordon Brown. Hello, Michael.
Hello, I'm sorry about that.
That's fine. Why would British Labour activists want to volunteer in a foreign election campaign?
Because they think that a Democrat in the White House is a better thing than Donald Trump. They are individual citizens. They have the right to do whatever they want. They are not being sent by Labour. They are not being paid by Labour. They are doing this voluntarily. And they have every right as citizens to do something that is perfectly legal.
But is it really 100? But is it really, Michael, 100 Labour activists at random individually deciding they're all going to go to this election?
Yes, absolutely. It is, and it's many, and the number will be much larger than that of people from the UK who want to support that campaign in the US. So the fact that there are a few from the Labour that work for Labour is that the story is about them. I mean, I'm here in Washington at the moment, and I haven't met a single person who has any interest in this story. Most people have not even heard of it, didn't know that it was an issue. It's an issue in the UK because Nigel Farage made it one, and his mate Donald Trump, he is, of course, the great campaigner in the US. So it's extraordinary that he should kind of accuse Labour people of this when he is the chief trumpeter of Trump, if you like, in the UK. He has made this into an issue, and he's got Donald Trump to say something about it. But it's not an issue in the American election. Of course it isn't. The issues are what you've just been discussing. They're all the things that matter to American voters. So this is not an issue in America. It's an issue in the UK because Farage has made it one, and because I'm afraid you guys in the media have kind of amplified what he's been saying. But these are ordinary citizens with the right to do whatever is legal, and if they want to campaign in another country, just as people do in the UK, then that's their right.
I'll let you respond to that, Errol.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Totally, man. That's cool. Apparently, they've been doing it all the time. It's legal. Now, why would Donald Trump file a lawsuit? Probably because it draws eyes on this issue. The same reason why the DOJ served Elon Musk with those papers saying your sweepstakes may be a lottery. Well, Elon kept sending out checks, just like they keep sending over the workers, because apparently it's not illegal. But now, at least in the UK, I mean, again, there's only got play in the US a little bit. But for the US eyes that did see it, they're not going to do a deep dive into this. They're going to say, that sounds weird. Just like a regular working class British person, if they heard that a bunch of MAGA supporters were coming over to campaign for the Tories, they might say, hey, that doesn't sound cool. And that's really all it is. But I agree with the other guy on the line. Like, they're welcome to do this. I mean, it's a democracy, and we're welcome to shine a light on it. It's part of campaigning. It's part of the political sort of gamesmanship. Like, welcome
many
to
of
the
them
arena.
Many of them will be young working people. How are they affording to do this?
Yeah, it's a good question. Probably somebody's helping them. And you know what?
Michael Jacobs?
Oh, sorry.
No, well, I mean, I obviously don't know in each individual case, but I imagine that they have taken some holiday from their jobs. They've flown. They're working. They'll be working people, and they will have enough money to take a flight to the US. They'll be put up in other Democrat campaigners' homes. Nobody will be paying for their accommodation. So the idea that they're being supported in doing this is just wrong. These are all put up in American Democrat campaigners' homes, and then they join in the campaign and have a bit of fun and act out their political beliefs. Perfectly normal and really not a story.
Well, that is some support, at least, right? If they let you in their home, they're paying property taxes and stuff like that. There is some support, and that's fine. I mean, it's minor, but it does exist, right?
But it's not payment coming from overseas. So it's not a payment from the UK.
I understand that, but like you can see how a local American might see that as assistance, regardless. I mean, yes, I agree with you. They're not getting any. But imagine a nice, hospitable person offers you dinner to your guests, perhaps takes you out for ice cream. What are these? You see what I'm saying? Like it's not that there's no support, but it's that the support's so minor it probably shouldn't be a news issue.
Michael, thank you very much indeed. Errol, thank you as well. Here comes the Midnight News from the BBC.